Everybody, Dave here, Hidden Freedom Investing. In today's video, we're going to do a fire update. It's been about 8 months since I put out a fire video, and in this video, we're going to go over an update. So we're also going to look at, some accounts that got consolidated, got rid of some stuff. In addition, to see if we're still on track for fire. Is there anything that can prevent me from firing relatively in a short amount of time? And at the end of the video, there's a surprise for you. So if you hang out till then, I'll go ahead and release that little surprise for you. So let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're logged in the spreadsheet here. This is basically the last spreadsheet that I used in the last video about 8 months ago. I did make some minor changes to it. And if you didn't see that video, you're more than welcome to look at my last fire video, and I'll put it up here for you. It was a 2-part series, but I'm going to try to make this video just a one shorter video, so I'm not going to go into great detail on this video. At least that's my plan. So in that video, I think I started down at the bottom right here with this little thing, which I found from Mr. Money Mustache. He's talking about the 4% rule of the Trinity study. Basically you take your annual expenses, you times by 25 years, and that's about basically the amount of money you need to retire on. All right. So, and I found that about in 2014 or so, and I've been striving ever since. I originally planned on doing about 3.5% withdrawal because, just given my age, not that I'm an old fart, not that I'm a young gun, I just kind of in between, so I figured that 3.5 would just be a little bit safer number. So here is all of the numbers to, at the top there. This is your annual expenses. So $55,000, you need about $1.6 million, and at 3.5% withdrawal rate, you'll have $55,000 per year to live on. And I basically put down here in this, what do you call it, the highlighted area here of the numbers I already achieved. So that's the only reason why those are there. I haven't achieved 1.8 million, so that's the reason why that's not highlighted, but the 1.65 is achieved. So technically, I could live on $48,000 a year and a 3% withdrawal rate, or I can come all the way up, all the way to the right here, $60,000, $70,000, probably at the 4% rule. So that's basically what that is. If you want to look more information up that, look up the Trinity study or look at Mr. Money Mustache. So let's scroll all the way back up to the top here. And these are my assets. So obviously these are the, where all my money's stashed at this point. I got rid of a lot of accounts since the last update video and consolidated some stuff. Obviously there's more dividends and more dividend value and all that stuff as well. So I'm not going to really go into detail about all this stuff. Right now, my assets stand at 1.654. Then there's the percentage right there. You basically, the weighting for every one of the accounts, which is kind of represented on the right-hand side in this chart. And then I kind of put in the income by account there just to kind of give me a rough estimate of what the income is per account, and then the yield as well. And obviously for 401k, it's kind of just, I'm just guessing there. 3% is that's low, right? The S&P 500 returns about what, 7 to 8% annually on average. So 3%, I just kind of tried to underestimate that a little bit there. Dividends, I already know what that is because that's pulling off my dividend portfolio. If you haven't seen any of my dividend portfolio videos, go ahead and take a look at that one up here. I just did an update last week on my dividend portfolio, and you can see how much money I have invested, how much I generate from that as well. I do have a bunch of real estate notes still, and literally over $530,000 still in real estate notes. Some of those are split across taxable, some are split across tax deferred. If you want to look at the real estate note video, you can look at that up here as well. And I do know the return on that. So the notes, 7.7% is actually a true number. And then we come down to TD Ameritrade spec count. There's really just the only thing that's in there right now is this little bit of crypto. The 10%, I don't know if that's real or not. Income, let's see, Interactive Brokers options account, that is the amount that's in there. I'm generating about 24% a year. That's my goal this year anyway, 24% off of that account. Right now I'm way ahead actually on that. I'm up over I think $11,000 or $10,000 or $11,000 just, and we're not even through 2 months at this point. Real estate notes, that does the taxable side. That's what the difference between this box here is and this box down here. The bottom box is taxable, the top box is tax deferred. Real estate notes generates about $28,000, roughly almost about 7% there. Those are getting paid back every single month. It's a little bit of principal and a bunch of interest. And you got the real estate flips here, still waiting on that debacle. They are in foreclosure, and they've been in foreclosure for literally almost about a year now. So you think I'm ever gonna get flips again? I don't know. If I ever do flips again, it's gonna be just me doing it, and it's not gonna be probably in Florida. So that, you know, I'm not gonna generate any money off of that. It's kind of just dead money sitting there. I can't wait to get that back because it's gonna go in my Interactive Brokers options account where I can generate a pretty good sum of money off of that. So I'm actually looking forward to getting that money back. Right now it's just dead weight. Dividends, let's see, Schwab dividend account here, $366,000 in there, about a 3.17% return. So it's about $11,500 per year. In Schwab account, there's really not a lot of excess cash in my Schwab account right now, so I'm kind of waiting for a note to get paid back early or something like that. So that doesn't obviously generate any capital for me every year. Fundrise account sitting at $16,000 right now, generates about 8% a year, so $1,300 in dividends. Lending Club, that they just closed that platform down in let me see, December. So everybody that was already in there, you know, all those people that had the notes and stuff and all that, until those get paid back, you know, they won't close the platform down. But right now it's, you know, the platform's closed down to new investors. You can't invest in it. They went a completely different direction, but everybody that was already in there, you're still gonna have all your notes and all that until those go away, and then the platform's gone. So I do have $1,400 in that platform right now, generates about 12% a year. I think a little bit more than that actually. $180 as that's all that money's coming out and just going right into Fundrise anyway. And then I got the HIAS account here, the high yield savings account, $31,000 sitting in there. It's 0.4% or so return. But the reason why that is in there, and you probably question like, what, this could be an emergency fund, but it's really not. The money is in there for those flips because those flips are gonna go to auction, and if they don't sell at auction, I'm gonna have to do something, so I'm probably gonna have to flip them. So that's the reason why this cash has been building up here every month, and I'm hoping at least one, because there's two houses, I'm hoping that one goes at the auction. Really, honestly, I hope that both go at the auction, but if one doesn't or they both don't, I'm gonna have to flip them because otherwise I'll end up losing money. So that total assets sit at 1.654, and a total income, including on the tax deferred and taxable side, is about $103,000. And that's a huge increase because I just looked at my update from 8 months ago, and my net worth has gone up over $220,000 in 8 months, and I have no idea how I could do that. Part of that I think is just, you know, market returns, right? We had, you know, I've invested quite a bit of money during March, and now I do save a lot of money every single year for my job as well, for my W-2, but still, I mean, $220,000 in 8 months, I mean, I just didn't expect that. So I don't know if that will continue for the next 8 months or not, but even if I could get that in, say, you know, the next 12 months, I'd be happy with that as well. So hopefully the markets continue to go up. We are kind of frothy at this point, but it is what it is. And something new in this particular update is I did put a debt section in here. Okay, now I don't have any debt at all. Okay, I did pay off all my student loans in 2017. That was the only debt that I had left. Paid the car off in like 2012. So the only debt that I actually had was student loans, and I paid that off. So I don't have any debts, but I did put that in there for somebody in the future. So let's see here. Account type, total minus debt, taxable minus debt, $1.17 million. Income about $81,000, yield about 6.98. And we'll talk about this SR here in a second. And the tax deferred side, about $484,000, and income was about 21,766 with a yield about 4.49. Obviously, like I said up there, I had to do some, kind of just some guesstimates on some of those because I don't know what the actual rate is for my 401k. And if you did see my last update, I did change the goal, and it's a moving goalpost. Okay, what's going on here? So yeah, net worth right now sits at 1.654, and the goal has been moved up to 1.85, and I'll tell you the reason why. The goal is I'm at 89% to the goal, 89.45% to the goal, and the remaining is about $195,000 to go. And if you did see my last update, or if you didn't see my last updated video, the goal was 1.65, okay, and I had 1.45 at the time. So 1.65 was the goal. I mean, I already met that goal. I'm at that goal right now, and there's no way I can retire right now, right? We're in the middle of a pandemic still, and the things that I want to do literally right when I retire, I really think the pandemic will make it a little tough for me to get where I need to be. And so at this point, the retirement got pushed back basically about a year. And even if I wanted to retire right now, I can't even do what I want to do. Well, I take that back. I'd have to go northbound. I do want to hike the AT, right? So the AT, you could start in February and you go northbound, but I want to go southbound. So yes, I technically could retire this year, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. So I'm going to use that as an excuse. Right now everybody knows that my retirement date is somewhere in March of 2022. So it's about 14 months out. But I did have an original date of this year, right around March or April. But because of the pandemic, I'm going to go ahead and push it to 2022. And hopefully by then the flips are all taken care of. They've gone through foreclosure. One's gone through, maybe they've both been sold. Maybe one hasn't been sold. Maybe one went at auction. I don't really know, but I'm hoping at least they're done and they've gone through auction or foreclosure at that point. That's the goal anyway. So let's talk about this SR here. That's the savings rate. Okay, so I do save about 65 to 70% of my take-home pay. Not to mention I max out my HSA and I max out my 401k as well. So I do save quite a bit of capital just with my W-2 job. So that's what the S stands for. That's the savings rate. The R is the return. Okay, now I do have another spreadsheet where I calculate that information from. So right now, if I just work, my normal 9-to-5 job, and I, pretty conservative on my return rate. Options I think I put at $24,000, even though I plan on doubling that this year. So right now, my net worth on a conservative basis would go up by $169,000 a year. Okay, and you divide that by 12, you get to $14,000 a month. All right, so that's how I come up with that number there, and this is a really conservative number. Okay, now it calculates obviously the notes, which I know what that is. It calculates a very small amount of return. Actually, matter of fact, now that I think about it, I didn't even put a return on the 401k in there. I just put the amount of money that I contribute to it. Okay, so it's like $27,000 because of match and all that stuff. Max it out, and the match, max the HSA out. Okay. So $169,000 with a very limited return, a very conservative return, the dividends and all that, which I already know what that is, the notes, I already know what that is. So on average, not on average, but just in general, $169,000 should go up. Now I obviously blew that goal away with just in the last 8 months. I have no idea. I mean, obviously the market's gone way up and that helped, right? So if the market continues to go up, I should really surpass my goal pretty easily. So that brings us down to here the conservative net worth projection. So there's my lean fire number there for 2021. Like I said, I was originally going to plan on retiring in 2020, and then it got pushed back, and then 2021. Technically, I could still retire in 2021, 3 months out. and that'll add about another $42,000 to my net worth by then. So I should be up to about 1.697. And obviously some more cash I need to add to this for this year, or excuse me, for this month because of the note. So it'll probably be about 1.7 in 3 months time. That's my lean fire number there. But we got pushed back to 2022 March is my time frame. So it's about 415 odd days or so until I'm looking to fire. And that pushes us back to about 14 months. So I put my fire on there. Okay, and that'll add about $197,000 to my net worth on a conservative basis. All right, and that'll bring the amount to about 1.85, which is right what I set the goal at. Okay, and every time a month ticks off, I go ahead and change these numbers here. So I'll just change that to 2, and then I'll change that to 13, and then you can see all the numbers adjust there down. Okay, so I'm going to change those back just because obviously we're not through February yet, but I do adjust those every single month. So we'll just put those back right where they were. If I did for some reason stick it out to 55 years old, I would have on a really conservative basis about $3.2 million. And like I said, you know, obviously probably by then, the more money you have, the more money you can make, right? The more money you have, the more money you can invest, and the more, you know, every dollar I invest, I call that an employee, okay? And that employee goes out there and works for me 24 hours a day to give me a return. That's just something I came up with. I don't know if anybody else has come up with that, but every dollar I invest is an employee of mine, and they're working day and night for me. So anyways, we are looking to retire in 2022, but if for some reason I had to make it to, you know, 50 years old or something like that, a conservative basis, I should have $2.36 million on a really conservative basis, because obviously I'll have a lot more cash to invest, so that would likely be higher, but I'm just trying to be conservative here. So, and we'll scroll down here, and there's a net worth there, 1.654, and I changed the goal to 1.85. Which, you know, I had no idea whether or not I'd even come close to that, but it looks like it might be a reality, so I'm, you know, not complaining here. And then post fire, I'm gonna, like I said, we put this all in one video. Last time I split it out, I'm trying to go over it a little quicker, but this is what I kind of want the accounts to look like post fire here. So we got the So we got the company retirement account there. That's going to be all dividends, and that's going to be about $388,000 of dividends, which generates about 3.3% yield, which would be about $13,000. And then we'll still have notes unless something gets paid back early. So that'll be about $122,000 by the time I fire. And that generates about 7.54% in that particular account, so $9,200. And then HSA, I wish I had one of those my whole life, but I don't, unfortunately. You know, it's kind of something relatively new that a lot of companies are doing, but it is what it is. I'm trying to I max out every year, but hopefully I can still contribute to that after I fire anyway. Right now, there's about $10,000 or so in there. So by the time I fire, about you know, $13,000 or so. And that brings us down to the taxable side here. And the interactive brokers account, that's where I do my options trading, and I do quite a bit of options trading in there. I want it to be about $200,000 in there. It's about 170, 172 in there right now, and that'll generate an easy $24,000 a year. 12% is very easy to do. I think even 2% a month is really easy to do. But I like to be conservative, so we'll just cut it in half, and that'll generate about $24,000 on a pretty passive basis. And then we'll also build up the Schwab dividends account to $660,000, and that'll be about $23,500 in annual dividends, about 3.56% yield. And then the Fundrise account will build out to about $17,500, about $1,500 a year in income. And then the highest account, the $450,000, which I haven't really made up my decision what I'm going to do with that account yet, but that's really just to buy house cash. I don't know when I'm going to buy a house cash. Most likely, honestly, a lot of that cash, probably $350,000, maybe even more than that, will all go in the options account where I can just generate easy money in that account. And while I'm sitting overseas on a beach drinking mojitos. And that brings us down here finally to the account type and the income I get from each one of those types of accounts. So the taxable side will be about $51,000 of income, mixed between a little bit of real estate notes. Well, actually, I'm trying to get out of the real estate notes, but that the long-term fire is to get out of the real estate notes on the taxable side. So that most of it looks like, well, maybe about half of it. Half of it is, looks like real, let me see, half looks like options income, half looks like dividend income, so that's fine. There'll be a little bit of, you know, taxable income there. You know, obviously you subtract the standard deduction and all that, so about $15,000 of, maybe a little bit more than that, of ordinary income, if you want to call it that, or earned income. And the rest will be dividend income. And then you got the tax deferred side here. About $22,000 of income will come from the tax deferred side. And I like to break that out because I want to know what my taxes are going to be. You know, if you're looking at firing, you really need to look at, you know, how much money do you have in your tax deferred side? How much money do you have on your taxable side, right? If you're going to fire and you're retire early, you need to have enough money on your taxable side to get you at least a 59.5 when you start drawing off your tax deferred side. So, well, that brings us to the end of the video, and I told you I'd give you a surprise. So, yes, I will make this spreadsheet, this particular one, this net worth one. It's I'll make it available for you. It's down in the description or down in the first pinned comment if you want to download this particular spreadsheet. It normally comes as part of the package that I sell, but I'm gonna give this particular spreadsheet away because I feel like it could help people achieve FIRE, help them save more and all that. And that's the whole reason why I stuck the debt section in there, is because people actually have debt. I had debt. Anybody striving for FIRE and they're just starting out, they probably have debt, so you can put your debt in there. So I will make that available. Feel free. It's for, you know, feel free to download it. It is free. Hopefully it helps you out. So until next time, right now we're still on track for FIRE at 14 months. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, go ahead and hit me up in the comments area. You can hit me up on Facegram, Twitter, or shoot me an email or anything like that. So go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you next video. Thanks for watching.